this conversation I'm so thankful to have because Jessalyn, you are one of my past clients and we've become friends, which is something I truly value. People that I get to support, we get to know each other beyond, just supporting one another through a fertility journey. And you live here in Colorado. And I just want to thank you so much for being here and sharing your story.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Lisa.
Oh, gosh. Well, looking at you now, for those of you listening, you'll have to also see our YouTube video of you. You're glowing, you're pregnant and you're due in just a few weeks. I'm celebrating you in this journey. It could bring me to tears thinking about what you've overcome, having walked this path with you. And I would just love for you to share kind of where you're at and what you're looking forward to in the next coming weeks.
So right now I'm 37 or I'll be 37 weeks on Sunday. So just in a few days. I'm looking forward just to being able to hold my baby and kiss him, and I'm having a boy. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that. It's just been a long time coming.
Oh, this was, I know, your last embryo, right?
Yeah, it was. I had 7 embryos and he was my last one. So he's my lucky number 7.
Lucky 7. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm celebrating you and I cannot wait to meet him. And I just, appreciate you being open to coming on to have this conversation. It's not always easy. And I really want to let you know how courageous you are to open up. And you said before we jumped on the call, you're like, whatever will help somebody else on this path. That's what this is about. You have any other thoughts about why you wanted to come on to share kind of your experience?
I just feel like of listening to like other people's stories before going through this myself, it really did inspire me. And kind of gave me hope. So I feel like if I could tell my story and somebody else might be maybe going through the same thing, I would love to help them out as well and give them hope, and hoping something will happen great for them just as much as it did for me. So,
oh my gosh. Well, there's so much power in sharing our stories and taking you back to, was it 2020 when you kind of started your fertility path? And I know you started with IUI, and I'll kind of let you open up wherever you'd like to begin with when you and your husband wanted to start having children.
Yeah, so it started in 2020. We did 4 IUIs. And unfortunately, those didn't work at all. And they told us our next steps would be IVF. And at the time, like I was just kind of stressed out after going through all that I didn't even really want to consider doing it. And then just the cost and stuff. So I kind of like given up. And then in December of, I think it was 2022, like I was talking to a friend and she's like, I know you really want this. I don't think you should give it up. And she kind of like talked me into starting and doing it again. So
were you at the same clinic the whole time?
No, so I was at a different clinic. It was like with her name was Dr. Trout. For the first one in 2020, but she's not in business anymore.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you switched over, deciding to do IVF in 2023?
Yeah, so we started in 2023, and that was with CNY Fertility in Colorado Springs.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
And lead us down the path of your IVF and how many embryos. I remember you went through a couple of transfers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I did 2 egg retrievals. So the first egg retrieval, we ended up with 3 embryos. And the first transfer didn't take. And then the second transfer, I decided to do the last 2 embryos. And I ended up getting pregnant then. And then I think on the first ultrasound it went okay, and then the second one they didn't see the yolk sac,
Mm.
So they said that it didn't work out, or didn't even hear a heartbeat or anything.
Wow. Oh.
So yeah, that was my first miscarry. So that was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
The only upside to that though was like it made me hopeful because I knew I could get pregnant at that point. I've never
Mm-hmm.
been pregnant in my life, so that like kind of was like I thought we were going to give up after that, but then like, well, I found out I could get pregnant, so why would we give up right then? So
Yeah.
then ended up doing another egg retrieval a few months later after that, and then ended up with 4 embryos.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when I met you, that was in 2023, right?
Yeah, so I I started talking to you. I read your book actually right after my first miscarry, and then I realized you were in Colorado, so I reached out to you and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." And then found out you do like fertility groups, and that's when
Yeah.
I joined, is like right at the beginning of my second egg retrieval. So
Okay.
that like definitely helped, joining that group, going through the process,
Yeah.
because I think during the process of the first time around, like it was just hard doing it alone.
Mm.
So joining the group definitely helped, being with like other women and hearing their stories, and then just learning about a bunch of different things with the chakra readings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That definitely helped.
Yeah, the group that you're talking about, for those who are listening, it was the Energetics of IVF, which I've now turned that into a course, which I'm so excited for people to experience. But you got to experience it live when I was initially creating it. And it was about an 8-week program that we were doing weekly calls together. Um, and thank you for just being open to this new kind of support. I don't think you probably knew much about it, but you're like, I'm ready to shift it up and try something new. What were the things that drew you to it where you're like, yeah, why not? I'm gonna give this a go.
I just feel like I needed something new to help me get through
Mm,
it, because it was just so awful, like doing everything alone, and just
yeah.
all the negative. And then after reading your book, I was like, I feel like this is my call
Mm.
to do something different this time around.
I'm so glad you did. I mean, just how you connected with the others in the group and sharing, each of you are at so many different stages. And your openness to trying new supports. I'm curious, like through your clinics, what were you offered kind of any holistic, emotional type of support? I know that's something that a lot of clinics don't emphasize, right? They're focused more on the medical side. They're doing the protocols, the medications. Like were you given or offered any kind of external resources to help support you navigating it?
Mm, not really, like
Yeah.
yoga, like stuff like that, or
Okay.
acupuncture, but
Okay.
nothing spiritual or anything like
Right.
that.
That's
Mm-mm.
why I just think like there's this missing part, right? Like we need the medical side and we also really value having support, connection with others going through it. And I think this is why I created this, right? To show you a new way. And you shared with me that IVF really had been kind of consuming your life. You were struggling with some fear, right, of the unknown in the future, which is so common. Like I remember going through that too. And it's just like, take us back to what you were feeling at that time where was IVF, like you said, doing it alone and you have your husband to support you, but like what other feelings were you feeling?
Yeah, I just felt lost. Like I just felt like I was just waiting for the unknown, and
Mm.
it was just wasn't a good time. I felt and like I was in a dark spot. It just wasn't good at all.
Yeah, you told me like just hard time coping, right? With the coping with the struggles. And if we don't have kind of tools or resources, we're kind of left to figure it out on our own, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like having the support is, you definitely need that extra support.
What were some of the things that supported you? Was it some of the practices or exercises? And you also, I mean, I should share too, like what's so cool is you did the program and then you also joined the Moon Magic and Manifestation calls, which we did all of 2024. And
Mhm.
that was something new that I created, bringing in guest experts and holistic teachers, teaching practices to really like elevate your life, right? Like these are tools that won't just help you through fertility, but it's tools to help you navigate into motherhood. And were there any things that you gained from, if it was, different mindfulness practices or the power of intention setting, any things that kind of stood out in your mind as you're thinking back to like people you got to hear and meet?
So I feel like doing the affirmation, sorry, I can't say that.
Affirmations.
Affirmations,
Yeah.
definitely helped. I
Mhm.
actually wrote some letters to my future baby, so that
Oh,
really helped as well. And then before like anything big that happened, like a transfer or a blood work or something, I would write in my journal just like how I was feeling. And I feel like that writing down things just really helped get everything out and help me cope with everything.
was journaling something that was a practice you were doing, or were you kind of new to these
Oh,
kind
that was definitely new for me. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not really, yeah, I never really was into writing, but yeah, it definitely helped.
I think that's common for a lot of people. It's like, I never want it to feel like a chore if I have to do it. It's always an invitation, right? Just a
Hmm.
practice to get to write down thoughts and document your journey. And have you been documenting along the way, like part of your journey, would you say?
Yeah, so I have like a book, a baby book, like week by week that I've been writing in.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah, it's been really nice just to, and then something I can look back on later or show him once he's a little bit older, like how he's
Oh,
feeling and stuff.
I think that's something really key to share. And for those listening, it's like, doing something that may not feel familiar to you. Writing was something that you hadn't really done much before. And yet you approached this path like really openly, eager to, I'll try something new. And I think that's one of the key things that this path requires, like opening yourself up, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I feel like that doing that something different and kind of keeps your mind off of all the other things.
I
So
know. Because you're working, right? You're a hairdresser, a hair makeup artist, right? Sorry, not a hairdresser. Tell me what kind of
uh
work you've been doing.
I'm in full time. I do accounting. I'm
Yeah.
a government accounting. And
Okay.
then in the summertime, I do hair and makeup for weddings. So I have two
Okay.
jobs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you remember when you were going through your fertility path? Like, do you feel like you were kind of putting the things that you love to do on hold? Were you, you know, that's something you and I and just all of us ladies in the group, we talked about that, like doing the things that light us up and bring us joy. And I'm just curious from if you can look back in hindsight, were you postponing some of those things that you really love to do? Like, where were you at in that state? Do you remember?
So me and my husband, we like to go to the gym and we lift weights.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the things they recommend not really doing just because it can decrease like blood flow to the
Right.
uterus. So I had
Mm-hmm.
kind of had to give that up for a little bit, which was hard because I mean I love going to the gym and working out and stuff. So and then just it's just too intense. But uh, yeah, that I feel like I substituted it for went out and did like a lot of walking and stuff like that instead. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you need to substitute if there's something you can't do, make sure you
Yeah.
substitute it for something else that you still enjoy doing.
I've heard that from other clients too. When you're used to working out and you want to, you're used to moving your body in a certain way, and then you kind of have some restrictions. That's one of the things, right, with fertility IVF that it does post different restrictions where you can't do everything you used to do in that with physically moving your body and lifting the weights at certain times of your cycle. So that's hard, right, for a lot of people. But you still were kind of finding movement in other ways and walking. And I know you and we connected. I invited you to a session here in Colorado, a breath work session where we did, I think, didn't we do some yin yoga there too? Like some real
Yeah, we
gentle.
did some yoga there. That was yeah, that was such a cool night. Like I felt
Oh,
left there like feeling so good because I really needed that. I think it was like right before I was doing a transfer, like a
yes.
few nights
Yeah, it
before. So
was.
I felt like that really helped me calm down for that, get me
Oh,
ready for that.
I was so happy when you said, I want to join you for that. And you reached out and came and we did, it was a sound healing. We did breath work, EFT, I think tapping, to some energy work. It was a powerful night. I remember that too. When was your transfer? When was that? What month? That,
I think it was last year or actually 2023 of
okay.
like, I think it might have been September or October then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had shared you hadn't done a lot of holistic things like that before,
Oh
right?
no, that was like my first time doing anything like that.
Yay.
But I loved it.
Yeah, like share with others, like the power of just kind of saying yes. Like if someone is kind of like hesitant, maybe like, I don't know about these woo-woo things. Like what what are your thoughts on all that? Like what would you encourage someone to be open to trying?
I feel
Like,
like if you feel like you would be interested in it, but then something holding you back, like
mm,
why just go for it.
yeah. And we
Like
did a
you just
chakra
never
reading.
know.
I know one of the calls we did, because you also did some private coaching with me a little bit. We did
Hmm.
a chakra reading. And as I was looking back over my notes, I believe it was the throat chakra was one of the areas, and just like being able to speak your voice, that was an area we talked about, right? Like unleashing, opening up, and talk about breath work and chanting and all those things. Like those are powerful ways to unlock your throat, you know?
Hmm.
And then in the moon calls, we had also talked about, and a guest that came on was our connection to the womb space, right? And our throats. Remember that? I know we talked about like
Yeah.
when our jaws are tight and closed. That's like I'm diverting, we're going off topic, but like, just the importance of like how it's all connected, right? Open throat, open womb space, right?
Or chanting, and if
Mhm.
during a new moon or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So we had a call about that,
Oh
or
right.
during going outside.
Yeah, we were meeting kind of as a group every new moon around the time of the new moon, and just that's a really powerful time for calling in your intentions and like really getting clear on your desires. And it could be literally moment to moment. It doesn't have to be for the whole full year. I mean, I'm sure your goals, your intentions were changing every month, right? With every theme. And for those listening, like what were some of those intentions for you? Do you remember like wanting a successful egg retrieval, wanting a successful, like, do you hear the heartbeat, or do you remember some of those?
Yeah. I remember just because
Yeah.
during the since I'm pregnant now, like
Yeah.
before I've gone through 3 miscarriages and was never able to hear the heartbeat. And this pregnancy was the first time, my fourth pregnancy was the first time ever hearing the heartbeat. And so I think one of those written down, I was like, I want to definitely hear the heartbeat at 8 weeks.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, because I could never pass 8 weeks. I don't know what it was. Um, I don't know if it's because we didn't test our embryos.
Okay.
Um, and I think that's maybe why we got so many.
Okay.
We never tested them.
Never did. Okay. I'm curious about
Yeah.
your age. Will you share that? Would you be open to sharing your age?
So when we started all this, I was 36.
Okay.
I'm 38 now, gonna be
Mhm.
39.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I just want to honor, like, I don't know what a miscarriage loss feels like. I haven't gone through that. And to go through three and just then to hear the heartbeat, like I can't even imagine the feelings that you felt when you first heard that heartbeat.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually get to hear any of them. Like we never made it that far.
To the fourth one though. They're your
But the
fourth
fourth,
one.
yeah, the
Yeah.
fourth one, so the one that
Oh,
it
yeah.
stuck that I'm pregnant with now is the
Yeah.
first time I've ever heard the baby's
Gosh.
heartbeat. Yeah. So
Oh
very,
my
very
gosh.
lucky.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was just hard because like I would have a, a, a first ultrasound and they're like, yeah, everything looks good. And then for some reason, that second one, when you go to hear the heartbeat, they just never worked out.
Mm.
So yeah, it was very traumatizing actually.
What kind of supports did you have for yourself after those losses?
Just I would say being in the group helped.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then just my family and um just the support of them and everything for sure.
Because I think you'd already had a couple losses before you came into the program.
I think yeah, I might have had my first one, the first
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
miscarriage,
Okay.
which was before my second egg retrieval.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you, when you were going through all of the treatments and stims and meds and hormones, did it affect you greatly, or how did you do with IVF itself, would you say? Like, did
I
you
feel
handle the
like I did. I
meds?
was okay with the meds and everything. I think what just was hard was just the unknown and the losses and everything. That was
Mm,
the hardest part. Like the medication, I mean, it might have made me kind of emotional every so often, but I feel
mhm.
like
Yeah.
it didn't affect me as much as just going through the hardship of the losses.
Oh my gosh. Something you too had shared with me when you joined the program, you wanted to feel excited again. And I think that's so relatable because this process can really take over our life in so many ways. And we can sometimes like lose a sense of that spark, that light that we have inside of us. And you just to feel excited again. Like what were you wanting just to feel like yourself again, to feel excited for what was to come for your path to motherhood? Like, I mean, this path, like people have gone through rounds and rounds and rounds, and it's like it takes such an inner strength to like get back up again and to get back up again. Like, how was that for you when you're like, I just want to feel excited again?
I feel like just keeping yourself occupied and doing things that you love
Mm-hmm.
definitely helps. If I didn't have that or the group, um, I
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could have continued on, to be honest. It was just,
Mm-hmm.
there's just no way.
And then you got
Um,
to even run into one of the girls, right? At like was it an acupuncture session?
yeah, she was getting acupuncture and I was there at the doctor's office and
Oh,
to each other.
I love
Yeah.
that. I mean, you can't ever like plan for those kinds of serendipitous events. And I think that's part of the magic that I like to share is when you open yourself up to new supports and you saying yes and not knowing any of these women, like here you are bumping into her, right?
Yeah, I was so it was so and it was in the bathroom too.
Oh my
It was so
gosh.
random.
I love that. Something else
Yes.
that just came to mind that you were a part of was the in-person event that I hosted at my home, which happened to fall during National Fertility Awareness Week. I wanted to create a space to bring you ladies together that are local in Colorado. And I appreciate you like right away. You're like, anything you put together, Lisa, like I want to be there. Like, I just thank you so much because creating these intimate spaces is really where I feel so led to support you on this path, you know? And I just wanted any thoughts on that experience of what that was like.
Oh,
We had live music and it's just a real intimate night.
so that I really needed it. I had just gone through my third miscarriage. So it
Mm,
was like right before I had transferred my seventh embryo. And
mhm,
I don't know, I really needed that. And just meeting with the other women there, and
mhm.
just, we had so much fun listening to music and live music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, I really needed that at that point of time. Uh,
Oh, shout out to Darcy Nelson who came and yeah, she sang some really heartfelt songs and you know, Wise Woman. Do you remember some of those songs? It was like just like the heartbeat, the rhythm, just that deep soul, like moving music that is so healing, you know?
mhm. Yeah, she was amazing. It was really good.
I'll have to tell you. Yeah, I'll have to connect with you offline because she's actually doing a small gig in a couple weeks in Denver. So maybe, well, you might be having a baby, so maybe
I'm like, I
not.
don't know if
Oh my
I'll be
gosh.
able to make it.
Gosh. So you have your pups, your dogs. I think I wrote what are their names are Oliver and Flex still. You still have your little guys. Like,
Yes.
are
Yeah,
they
they're
so
downstairs right now.
I think I just heard them. Are they so excited to meet a little
Oh yeah.
brother?
Yeah. They're both very, yeah, I think they know.
Oh, what have you been doing to kind of like create this space as you're about to transition into motherhood? Is the nursery kind of put together? I don't know, are there any special things that you've kept in your space to kind of keep that hope alive for yourself as are nearing giving birth?
So I had not this last Christmas, but the Christmas before in 2023,
hmm
I wrapped like a baby blanket and like wrote a little note and put it under my tree. And then I actually just found it like right
Ah,
after Christmas and up
you
in the
did.
nursery. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I wrapped this and wrote a note hoping to have a baby the following Christmas. But I mean, I'm pregnant, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's the same. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was fun to find that since I did that for myself over
Oh
a
my
year ago.
gosh.
I thought that was a little more magical,
That's
little gift
so
to me.
special. Very
Yeah.
special. And remind me, I forget, did you have a symbol that kind of grounded you through your path? That's one of the things we talk about, even in the first kind of lesson of the program and getting grounded and feeling safe and supported. Having that kind of symbol to help us stay rooted. Was there something that you had that kind of helped you stay in that energy?
There's a couple things. So, like last year, I kept seeing like dragonflies when I was walking a lot, and I would have
Mm.
like one land on me. And then I would have I had a ladybug even land on me
Oh.
one time on my walk.
Oh.
But I have like a little like thing of a dragonfly that I was carrying anytime I went and did a transfer. I would bring that, and then some crystals I would bring as well.
Oh, that's so sweet. The dragonflies. Yeah. Now it's coming back. And something else I know you learned in the group was you learned of different resources, and one of them was the book Spirit Baby.
Yes.
Spirit Baby.
So
So yeah,
I
share about that.
I feel so. I read somebody recommended it, and I think it was
Mhm.
one of the moon calls at
Okay.
the beginning of last
Mhm.
year, and I read it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I feel like it kind of helped me get over some of the miscarriages after reading that book.
Mhm.
Um, it helped me get over, and then I found a woman online that does spirit baby readings, and I ended up having a reading with her,
Love
and
it.
she told me a lot of cool different things. She knew I was going to have a boy, which was
Mm.
is crazy.
Wow.
And then she also said that my aunt that passed away like a year ago, she said that she is the one that sent him to me, which I thought
Oh,
was crazy.
Jessalyn. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. So
Your aunt.
that was just really crazy to me. Just a bunch of other things she like said that I feel like have come true as well since how
Really?
far along I've come. It's
Oh my
just yeah. So like I feel like if anybody is um going through like the same thing, I think having that and joining your group like
gosh.
definitely helped me through all of this
Oh
and
gosh.
gets me to where I am right now.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah. And reading your book too, and your book as well.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, because you didn't do any testing, right? So you wouldn't have known the gender. And
Mm-mm.
when you found out with your baby reveal, that was that the first time you found out, or did you do, how did that work when you found out the gender? Take me back.
So so my mother-in-law found out through my one of the tests that I had done with my doctor's office.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
she knew, and then we went to a park and had a gender reveal party.
Oh,
And
so she knew before you.
yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
And we did these like things that you spray out smoke, the
Yep.
color of the gender, and the smoke came out blue. So
Oh,
it was so cool.
how is your husband William like feeling about everything? Is he so
Oh,
excited?
he's really excited. Yes,
Oh,
and he really wanted a boy, so yeah, he's super excited.
hmm. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm just so grateful that we've gotten to meet and connect and like seeing where you're at. Like I could cry. Like it's so special. Just I can't wait to meet your little one. And thank you for like trusting me and just trying something new because that's what it takes. It really takes being open and listening to that like inner voice. And that inner voice was, telling you, okay, time to shake it up, do something different, right?
Yeah, I feel like this process, you need to listen to your intuition for sure.
Mhm.
If something's telling you to do something, don't hold back. Uh, That's another
Mhm.
thing as well.
As you've been in your pregnancy, have you found some of the things that we talked about helping you as you're in this waiting and in the unknown and helping you kind of still live your life? Do you find like any of that like coming through for you or it's like, yeah, I remember that practice or that mindset. Maybe it's a mindset, right?
Yeah, I still do like some writing and
Hmm.
try and do some meditation. And um, the beginning of my pregnancy, I actually went and did another sound bath with my mother-in-law
Oh,
at
cool.
I think it was the botanical gardens we
Oh,
went.
awesome.
So
Okay.
that was neat. So I feel like I'm gonna still kind of do those things now that
Yeah.
I've experienced it.
I love that. I told you about like when I was going through IVF and doing Reiki and how I really feel like that helped Olivia, our girl, through
Um,
she's pregnant and just like the sound, there's power in the sound healing that affects not only us, but it affects our little ones, you know?
oh yeah, that's true.
So he's benefiting to it just as much.
That's very
So,
true.
just as a reminder, it all starts with us, right? And the more calm and the more kind of like we talk about a lot about regulation and nervous system work, it's like the more we can take care of ourselves, like that will have a positive effect on our offspring. So,
Yeah, I totally agree.
oh my gosh, you're going to be the best mama.
Oh,
Do
thank you.
you have any kind of like final words of to just for anyone listening who is, trying to hold on to hope, wanting this all to work out? Like what comes to mind? Any kind of inspiring words you can leave for somebody?
Uh, don't give up when you feel like you're on the verge of giving up. Because I was almost there for sure. Um, yeah, I feel like if you feel that you're meant to be a mom, then don't give up on your dreams.
No, that's so good,
Yeah.
girl. I love you. And thank you for having this conversation. It means a lot to me, just knowing you and what you've gone through and how you're helping so many other people through this. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Aw. Mwah. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.